In today's Final Touch, a celebration fit for a queen.
The Queen of Thailand specifically. The Queen's 87th birthday was celebrated not with candles, but with hundreds of drones lighting up the night sky. 300 drones were used to make a silhouette of Queen Circuit and spell out messages wishing her a long life and a happy birthday. The show lasted over 8 minutes. Last night, which just wasn't the Queen's birthday, it was also Thailand's Mother's Day.
That is really cool. I'd love to see that.
That's our time for now. Thanks for watching. News starts right now.
Right now at 5, a bill aiming to help students with dyslexia faces a few more hurdles before being passed. We will explain the opposition.
Day 2 of the trial for an Indiana truck driver accused of slamming into a school bus last year in Columbia County. What one student on that bus is saying.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
Thanks for staying with News 3 Now. A proposal aimed at providing more state resources for students with dyslexia is being considered at the state capitol this week. There
is opposition from some Democrats and the state's Reading Association. But Rose Schmidt spoke with a family who says it could have saved them some heartache. Rose?
Yes, dyslexia is not rare. It's actually the most common learning disability, and about 10 to 20% of the population has it. This proposal was created out of a study committee that looked at laws related to dyslexia. Although it does have a partisan divide, it faces just a few more hurdles before passing state lawmakers.
Smile real big for the camera.
Making words come to life.
It was 6 o'clock.
Is a luxury Nathan Mandeville hasn't always had.
It wasn't like he was being lazy or anything. He was actually trying, and he just wasn't grasping it.
In school, Nathan was reading at a kindergarten level in 3rd grade, making his family utterly perplexed.
We knew he was a very smart boy. He was very intelligent.
His family advocated for him, and now he's spending the week of his 10th birthday in a state Senate committee hearing fighting for himself.
I have dyslexia.
And for others who have dyslexia.
If a child's not reading at the end of 1st grade, that's a really good sign that they might be dyslexic.
Local dyslexia advocacy groups support a bill that would require the state to create a guidebook with resources and information for parents and teachers to help identify dyslexia.
If we get these kids young enough, they'll never even know they were dyslexic. Although it is genetic, it's neurobiological, it doesn't go away per se, but we just get the brain working more like the efficient way.
The state assembly passed the bill in June, with most Democrats voting against it, citing concerns about teachers' curriculums. One organization is formally registered against it, the Wisconsin State Reading Association, sparking what some have dubbed the reading wars.
Contrary to the view promulgated by other organizations, WSRA is not at war with anyone.
The organization's president says she would support the bill with just a few changes, including making the guidebook about all literacy reading conditions, not just dyslexia, and not defining dyslexia in state law.
Dyslexia definition included in the guidebook draft is controversial and not uniformly accepted by literacy and mental health experts in the field.
She says she supports the idea of a guidebook and wants to help children like Nathan.
If I saw a couple of kids struggling, or even one kid, I would cry my heart out, and it's just really sad to see it.
He was met with cheers from state lawmakers as he revealed just how far he's come.
I'm just really happy that I'm reading above grade level.
The Senate's Committee on Education will vote on the bill, likely sending it to the full Senate to take up, and then it would head to Governor Tony Evers' desk.
That is an impressive young man.
Nathan, wow.
9 years
job.
old, turns 10 tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday. He's helping some legislation pass, too. Rose, thank you. All right, let's get a look at your first alert weather. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joining us on the weather patio. Gary?
Well, it's dry out here now. We've had some showers and a few thunderstorms roll through the Madison area, and there still are some scattered around the viewing area. You can see a visible cloud track. We had some sunshine at times this afternoon, then the clouds bubbled up, and then we had showers and thunderstorms come through, and the clouds broke, and we kind of just repeat the process. Storm Prediction Center does have a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms basically north and west of Madison for the next batch of storms moving out of Minnesota. By the time they reach us, they should be weakening. There have been a few showers and thunderstorms moving through southern Wisconsin. One batch now moving into northern Illinois, another batch to the west and southwest of Madison. Current temperatures are in the upper 70s to the lower 80s, depending on whether or not you had some rain. The rain cools you down for at least a little while. Dew point temperatures are in the mid 60s to low 70s, so expect some shower chances overnight. Tomorrow might see another chance for a shower or thunderstorm. It'll be cooler with a high temperature of 70. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. The trial continues for the Indiana man accused of driving under the influence, crashing into the back of a school bus on the interstate in Columbia County.
Wayne Murphy faces 46 charges, including 10 felony counts. Charlotte DeLeste is here with more details about today's testimony. Charlotte.
Well, Susan and Eric, the bus was packed with dozens of students headed to a year-end field trip in the Dells from a Milwaukee area school in May of 2018. Yesterday, we heard eyewitnesses testify about Murphy's erratic driving prior to the crash. Earlier today, a state trooper testified that Murphy was under the influence of prescription drugs and seemed unconcerned about the crash. We also heard from a student who helped his fellow students off the bus after impact before he started to lose consciousness.
When I lost conscious, I was still in the field, and the lady, the ambulance, she came, and they was basically like wrapping tape around my head because I had glass in my hair. And I was just laying in the field, and the only thing, like, everything was just dizzy.
We are not showing the student to protect his identity. 5 of the students on board that bus suffered serious injuries. The trial is expected to last for the rest of the week, and we do expect Murphy himself to testify about what caused him to crash. His attorney in opening statements suggested Murphy will say the truck was top-loaded or the wind played a role. The state trooper today testified Murphy did not mention either factor to him after his arrest.
Story will continue to cover. Charlotte DeLeste. Charlotte, thank you. A 17-year-old Madison man has been charged following recent burglaries and thefts in Dane County. Court records show Isaiah Eli is charged with 7 counts, including operating a vehicle without consent, and 6 counts of bail jumping. Isaiah Ali, I should say, along with 2 other teens, is accused of stealing from the Easttown Mall and stealing a vehicle in July. Madison police say Ali has an extensive adult court criminal record with 6 open cases with charges that include burglary, armed robbery, and disorderly conduct.
Madison police have arrested a man in connection with a bank robbery from earlier this summer. 26-year-old Stanley Griffin faces armed robbery charges. Griffin is accused of robbing the U.S. Bank on Cottage Grove Road on July 9th. He is currently in the Dane County Jail. Local law enforcement is encouraging more people to install home security devices like the Ring app to help prevent crime. Our local sheriff's offices aren't promoting any particular home security system, but more and more sheriffs and police departments are partnering with the Ring app and the Ring neighborhood app. Homeowners who have this installed in their homes can capture surveillance video and give the video to local law enforcement to help them solve or deter crimes. It's something the Dane County Sheriff says works well.
At the end of the day, it's about solving crimes that have been committed, and through the knowledge of this technology, hopefully preventing future crimes from occurring. If the bad guys know that this type of technology has aided law enforcement in solving crimes, it may prevent them from committing their crimes in the first place.
The Sheriff's Office has partnered with the Ring app for several months now. Those who have the app and are members of the Ring Neighborhood Service can help in future investigations or emergencies like the one that just happened in Tennessee.
F-35 jets are in Wisconsin. It's for the annual Northern Lightning Counterland exercise at Volk Field.
Our Amanda Quintana is there with the sights and sounds of the stealth fighter jets that could soon call Madison home.
This exercise is giving us our first up-close look at the F-35s. The world's most advanced aircrafts are here, including the F-35s, F-22s, and F-16s, for the next week and a half to participate in the joint exercise, replicating today's air battle space. In February of next year, we expect to hear a final decision on whether the F-35 jets will come to Truex Field in Madison, replacing the F-16s that are currently being flown there. So what makes this jet so special? The exercise director compared the difference to cell phones.
So it's very limited because that was designed in 1976, and so the computers and the wiring and all that stuff can only be upgraded at such a pace. where the F-35 is really more like my iPhone 10 and when it's at least designed in the 90s, so that it has a lot more expandable capability. So they built it with better technology, but they also built it to receive better technology.
At 6, we'll hear from a pilot who has flown both F-16s and F-35s. We'll hear what he thinks the big difference is.
Wisconsin Republican lawmakers are circulating a package of bills designed to improve access to mental health services in the state. State Representative Paul Tittle said today the proposals are not a reaction to mass shootings recently, and he refused to say whether he would support universal background checks. The bills Republicans unveiled would make matching grant money available for mental health centers and nonprofits across the state, provide a tax deduction for psychiatrists, and update standards and practices for psychologists.
According to the 2018 figures compiled by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in Wisconsin. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of access to mental health care providers and mental health programming. We need to work harder to erase the notion that asking for help is a sign of weakness.
Governor Evers and Democrats are calling for the Republican-controlled legislature to pass that, as well as red flag laws to take guns away from people determined to be a risk to others or themselves.
Governor Tony Evers is telling the state's business leaders to embrace diversity and make all people feel welcome in order to help deal with worker shortages and an aging population. The governor spoke today at a policy forum organized by Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce. The State Chamber of Commerce, an arm of the group, spent more than $1 million in attack ads against Governor Evers in last year's governor's race. Governor Evers urged business leaders to make the state attractive to younger workers.
What is important to me is that we find ways to make Wisconsin a place that is more attractive to have people live here. And that has to be a full effort by your organization, but a full effort by all the entities that are scrambling for jobs.
Governor Evers says health care, good natural resources like clean drinking water, and advancing infrastructure will help bring people to Wisconsin.
Wisconsin Elections Commission has voted unanimously to bolster security on local clerks' computers. The commission staff warned that lots of clerks use outdated computer systems or aren't installing security patches. The Cap Times reports that commissioners have agreed to direct existing federal dollars to implement software that'll track security levels on local elected officials' computers. They'll also create a $30,000 emergency loan program for 25 devices to loan out to clerks who aren't able to comply with security protocols.
After serving as president of Edgewood College since 2014 and various other campus leadership positions for another 15 years, Scott Flanagan announced today he is leaving the institution. Flanagan is taking the position of senior consultant with academic search in Washington, D.C. Mary Ellen Gevelinger will serve as interim president. Flanagan will retain his position through the end of August and will advise Edgewood College through the end of the year.
More to come on News 3 Now at 5. Up next, we're learning more about the criminal background of a man accused of killing an officer in California.
And then coming up tonight at 6, law enforcement is at a Janesville middle school for active shooter response drills, what they're learning to keep students safe.
And on Wall Street, the Dow regains most of Monday's losses with a climb of more than 372 points. The Nasdaq up 153. S&P 500 added 42.5. We'll be right back. Authorities in California are trying to figure out what led to a deadly gun battle during a traffic stop that happened in Riverside County.
Deputies say 49-year-old Aaron Luther, the man who allegedly opened fire on police Monday on a busy freeway east of Los Angeles, had an attempted murder charge on his record, as well as assault with a deadly weapon against a peace officer. 34-year-old officer Andre Moyer was killed in the line of duty. Police say the highway patrolman pulled over a white GMC pickup truck yesterday afternoon. When he decided to impound the truck, police say Luther grabbed a rifle from the vehicle and began shooting.
Officer Moyer embodies everything that the California Highway Patrol stands for, with professionalism, dedication, and service to the public.
Police say 2 civilians suffered minor injuries in the shootout. 2 other patrolmen were also injured by gunfire, but are expected to survive.
Justice Department says 2 guards assigned to watch Jeffrey Epstein when he killed himself in jail have now been placed on administrative leave. The department says that the warden at the Metropolitan Correctional Center has also been temporarily reassigned to an office post pending the outcome of 2 investigations. Both the FBI and the Justice Department's Inspector General are investigating the death. Attorney General William Barr has expressed outrage that Epstein was able to take his own life Saturday while under the care of the Federal Bureau of Prisons while the inmate was facing sex trafficking charges.
The Philadelphia Orchestra has canceled an invitation to have opera legend Placido Domingo appear at its opening night concert. This follows accusations from 9 women that Domingo sexually harassed them. They tell the Associated Press Domingo tried to pressure them into sexual relationships by dangling jobs and sometimes punishing them professionally if they refused his advances. Domingo issued a statement saying, in part, "I believe that all of my interactions and relationships were always welcomed and consensual."
Police in Australia are hailing bystanders as heroes for helping stop a stabbing spree in Sydney. The 21-year-old is accused of stabbing a woman in an apartment and stabbing another in her back at a hotel. Police say the suspect has a history of mental illness and was carrying a USB drive with information about white supremacist attacks both in North America and New Zealand. Bystanders eventually pinned the man to the ground with a milk crate before authorities were able to arrest him.
Let's get a check on the weather now. Gary is here watching the forecast. Gary?
Well, we've had a few showers and thunderstorms over parts of southern Wisconsin this afternoon. You can see on the 6-hour precipitation exactly where the heaviest showers and storms went, from around the Dells to just east of Madison down through the Janesville area. But notice parts of southwestern Wisconsin have missed out on the rain. There are some heavier showers and thunderstorms now moving through parts of Iowa and Grant County. In fact, you can see a little heavier thunderstorm cell just south of Platteville. I was looking at the Queen Bee Radio Skycam earlier, and it was showing some heavy rain there. There's also a little bit of severe weather over parts of Minnesota. A severe thunderstorm warning for areas south of Rochester, Minnesota, and it looks like a new warning just south and west of the, or south and east of the Twin Cities. By the time those storms reach us, they probably will be below severe limits. You can see the activity moving through southern Wisconsin right now, but farther out to the west, this is the activity that's more likely to be severe. By the time it reaches us, the atmosphere will start cooling down as those storms will reach us after dark. So the Storm Prediction Center does have a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms north and west of Madison through the Twin Cities area for tonight for an isolated severe thunderstorm. Gusty winds, hail, maybe even an isolated tornado can't be ruled out. But again, the severe weather threat across our viewing area is going to be pretty limited. Looking at precipitation, according to the Future Track computer model, this is through early Thursday morning. Generally around a 1/10 to maybe a 1/4 of an inch of rain over southern Wisconsin, but there could be heavier amounts in excess of a 1/2 inch in some spots with heavier thunderstorms. Then additional showers and thunderstorms from Friday into Saturday could bring perhaps another 1/2 inch generally with some isolated 1 or 2 inch amounts. After that, it looks like we'll see dry weather for much of next week. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville shows sunshine now, where it was raining just a half hour ago, but you can see those clouds on the northwestern horizon. The live view from the WISC Skycam showing partly sunny skies. The Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison showing a little more of a buildup in clouds out to the west. As we check out our almanac for today, our high temperature hit 80 degrees, low temperature at 66. Right now we're at 78 degrees with a northerly wind at 3 miles per hour. Dew point temperature is still pretty high at 67 degrees. Temperatures range from the 70s to the 80s, depending on whether or not an area got rain. If they had rain, it cooled them off a bit into the 70s, like here in Madison, whereas La Crosse really hasn't had much rain yet. Those temperatures are in the lower 80s. Our forecast for tonight calls for skies to be mostly cloudy. We'll see some patchy fog developing, a few scattered showers, maybe a couple of evening thunderstorms, low temperature at 62. Then for tomorrow, look for skies to be mostly cloudy. It'll be rather cool with a chance of showers and thunderstorms. High temperature only topping out at 70 degrees and northerly winds of 8 to 15 miles per hour. On future track, you can see the thunderstorms moving out this evening. Still a few scattered showers overnight. Low temperatures dropping into the lower 60s. Then for tomorrow, we'll see a little lesser chance for a shower or thunderstorm, mainly because the winds will shift around to the north, and that'll bring in cooler air, stabilizing the atmosphere a little bit, but our high temperature only topping out at around 70 in Madison. Some areas may not get out of the 60s. Tomorrow night, though, skies will turn partly cloudy. Low temperatures will drop into the mid-50s, and it looks like Thursday will be mainly dry with high temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. These showers and thunderstorms out to the west probably will be more likely after dark on Thursday, and then we'll see them off and on into Friday. Rainfall amounts, again, some areas could pick up an inch to an inch and a half of rain in a heavier thunderstorm. Other areas much less than that. As we look at these 7 to 10 day forecasts, though, those temperatures actually start to climb as we head into the weekend. Thunderstorm chances will probably be highest on Saturday, but then as we head into next week, we dry out and we see plenty of sunshine. We've taken the rain out of the forecast, and temperatures will stay in the mid-80s, although humidity levels will be fairly low. As we take a look at first alert traffic right now, there's the view on the Beltline at Park Street. Eastbound direction, stop-and-go traffic there are pretty typical for this time of day. We're seeing delays eastbound on the Beltline from around Monona Drive all the way back to near Todd Drive. I've got an accident, looks like it's been reported right at the interchange of I-39, 90, and 94, so there could be some delays starting to develop in that area, and also some slowdowns on the Beltline just east of Verona Road. Right now, 25 minutes on the eastbound Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate, only 17 minutes going back in the westbound direction. Heading out of Madison, it's 28 minutes down to Janesville on I-39, 90, 17 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 19 minutes on US 151 and East Washington Avenue. Out to Sun Prairie, that is your News 3 Now for alert traffic.
Thanks, Gary.
Still ahead on News 3 Now at 5. Area water skiers are competing at the national level. We'll have results from a big trip to Indiana after this. The Madison Mallards are encouraging fans to pack the pond and help cheer the team on in a playoff game tonight. Last night, the Mallards defeated the Wisconsin Rapids Rafters in the first round of the postseason. If the Mallards win tonight, they will eliminate the Rafters. If not, the teams will play in Game 3 tomorrow, and that will be in Wisconsin Rapids. Madison in the playoffs for the 10th time now in franchise history.
The Wisconsin Badgers are one of the best volleyball teams in the nation. The American Volleyball Coaches Association preseason poll ranks the Badgers number 5. Reigning NCAA champion Stanford is ranked 1st. Nebraska is ranked 2nd. Minnesota is 3rd, and Texas 4th. Wisconsin will open up its 2019 season against Florida State on August 30th. The Mad City ski team has captured a national championship. They competed in Warsaw, Indiana over the weekend and earned high scores in 5 categories to beat out 14 other teams to win the title. The team is made up of more than 100 members from ages 3 to over 60. This year's Mad City performance, they performed a ski version of The Wizard of Oz. You can watch the national championship team perform. They put on free shows every Sunday at 6 o'clock at Law Park on Lake Monona. They'll put on free shows until Labor Day weekend. Congratulations.
Imagine a 3-year-old on water skis.
How do they do that?
How do they do any of that? And
It's
a 3-year-old can water ski.
That's amazing.
Have you ever water skied?
I've tried, but I've never been able to do it.
I couldn't get out. I don't think the engine was strong enough on the boat to pull me. We'll have another check of the forecast in just a moment. Stay with us.
On tonight's CBS Evening News, chaos in Hong Kong. Violence escalates between police and protesters. Is China's military gearing up for a crackdown? What's good for the heart is good for the head. A new study finds keeping blood pressure in check could help reduce the risk of dementia. And a trip to the ER forces a Marine to miss graduation, but hospital staffers have just the remedy. That's all tonight here on the CBS Evening News.
And still a little bit of rain out there tonight.
Depends on where you are.
Yeah.
Some people, sun is shining. The other people, you know, we have some heavier thunderstorms. Right now, some stronger storms in eastern Minnesota have prompted some severe thunderstorm warnings. But across our viewing area, the first batch of heavier showers has moved into Illinois. You can see another batch south of Platteville. And then upstream, not a lot, at least for the next couple of hours. So just keep an eye on it. But right now, the severe weather threat, I think, is pretty limited.
Oh, that's good.
We'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News.